Good. Very good.
Okay, I'm joining in now. Alright, I got some M&Ms. Ooh. M&Ms! Where the fuck am I gonna put these? Yeah, right there's fine.
I wish I could eat some M&Ms.
My topic, I think you asked before I walked away what we're doing, what we're talking about. My topic is about the PlayStation First Party Studios. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Alright. I don't have a topic. I'm just here.
Rumor has it, rumor.
Genesis E719 joined the game.
Oh.
Okay. I am up and broadcasting.
Oh, you started? Alright, let me,
Yeah, I'm rocking and rolling.
Be inside today. I'm coming inside.
Screenshot.
I'm going inside.
Yes, sir, Chester. Yes, sir.
I'm on a flaming chair.
Assume the
Look at that.
position.
Position has been assumed.
Assuming direct control.
Direct control. Broadcast starting. This is episode number 21.
21! Blackjack, ladies and gentlemen. Blackjack.
21 just in time for 2021.
Yes. Well, almost. So close. It would have been better if it was next
we do.
week, but...
Yeah.
But
next week we're taking vacation just because we want this joke to work.
I love it. I love it.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
And deuces.
I think for New Year's we should actually do like an actual game stream where we actually all play something and we stream that instead of just sitting over here.
Well, excellent. What would you like to play?
Probably. I want to play. Well, I don't know. I would say maybe The Forest. Maybe.
Well, you know, we'll see if maybe I can get myself a digital copy of Ghost of Tsushima because.
We should do that.
Oh my god.
Perhaps we should do that. I'm just saying.
I sent your Christmas card out like 2 days ago, so it's probably gonna get there after Christmas, but you should get it soon.
Oh well, if you're sending it to just about any other place in the world, it probably would get here around that time. But because it's coming to here, you can go ahead and tack on like an additional like 3 or 4 months to that arrival time.
That's terrible.
Well, you know it's odd because it only seems to happen for incoming mail. Things that go out, no problem. No problem.
Instant. They're just out. They
Incoming
immediately
is
get to the
bad.
place the next day, and it's like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is everyone where you live wants to leave immediately, but nobody wants to come in?
Right. There you go.
Got it. Got it.
Yep. See?
Well,
Nailed it.
Hopefully it gets there a little bit quicker than that.
Oh.
I mean, it's just a card.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Another glorious day to craft a chat with all of our fans, our friends, our fam.
The fam.
The fam for Yam. Ladies and gentlemen,
All right,
welcome. Are we broadcasting? Yes, we are broadcasting.
Yes,
Yep.
Welcome once again to episode 21. 21 Blackjack, ladies and gentlemen, of Crafting a Chat. It's your boys, Adam, Genesis, Giuseppe, and we are so excited. 21st episodes. Hopefully we'll end 2020 on a clean and happy note. Lord knows
Are
we
we
could
legal
use...
now? Is that what it is? Are we legal now?
I think at 18 we were legal, but all right.
Yeah, it's a varying degrees of legality.
It also depends on your country. Like,
That's true.
Yeah, for all our fans watching outside
21's
of the U.S.
21's a good age. 21's a good age.
21!
And with that, another week in the record books. Gentlemen, what have you all been playing this past week?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
Adam and I have been playing a bunch of Sackboy. I don't understand why this game has not gotten more praise than it has already. It should be getting tons of praise for this game because just the multiplayer is a ton of fun. The game itself has so many different mechanics. Listen, it's a lot of fun. Don't tell me.
No, I mean, for the praise reason, like, the game's good, but then it gets amazing. You have to get through it for a couple hours.
Yes.
But also, like, the multiplayer mechanic is great, but that just came out. Like, you could do couch co-op, but if it had online at the beginning, maybe.
It was tough. You can only share play it. That was the only way to play online multiplayer before, but I gotta tell you, the game is a lot of fun. I'm having just a grand old time with Adam. It's just been laughs and all this stuff just going through on this. I'm like, this is awesome. I just want to get more and more of it. All the different stuff they put in, from the little mechanics with the jellyfish mechanics, where if you hit them, they make the floor either appear or disappear. You have like the quote unquote Iron Man suit that you have where you can fly and shoot things. You also have the grappling hook, which is a lot of fun, but the only annoying thing is that sometimes you grab your partner, which I wish there was just a little bit better tweaks on that, but I'm sure they can fix that. It's not a big deal.
Don't aim at them. Problem solved.
Yeah.
I never grab you, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that sometimes when we jump at the same time, I end up grabbing you instead of, grabbing the thing that I'm supposed to grab.
Interesting. I'll never grab you unless I want to.
Now, when you grab the other person, does that what are the bad effects? Do you just toss them into like pits and stuff like that, or?
Well, he's thrown me into pits.
Oh yeah. You grab them and you can actually carry people around. There's one of the trophies where you have to get through one of the time trials by carrying somebody through the entire trial, and that was a whole thing. That
was an event. That was a journey. That number one fan of the podcast, Kevin, came on with us. So.
Ooh, nice.
Absolutely.
Honestly, that little mechanic there, that reminds me of a really, really old NES game. I don't know if you're familiar, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. When you played that two-player simultaneously, you could actually grab the other person, and you basically got full control over them. As if, like, the whole game is basically just like a side-scrolling platformer where you just essentially, you grab stuff everywhere in the level, and you just throw things to, like, kill enemies. But you can also do that to the actual other player, and you could be helpful, or you could be a jerk and just toss them down a pit if they just got in your way. So
you can easily this one's all about like family friendly fun. So you can easily get out of the grab by just tapping X once, and you're not grabbed anymore.
Okay.
But especially when we're at the score sheets at the end, we're hitting each other, we're jumping around trying to grab each other. I'm rolling all the time because Sackboys can roll. If you just keep tapping circle,
Sonic the Hedgehog in this game, you just roll.
Yeah. There's a lot of rolling. I roll all the time, but if you roll and then you go near your co-op partner, the co-op partner automatically jumps on top of the ball and starts running on top of the ball that's rolling. So it's just, I always drag Genesis, and he's like, what are you doing? Stop rolling. It's killed us multiple times.
Yes.
So, sorry about that.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. The first night we played, we were having so much fun. We played for, 5 hours?
Yeah, and it's weird. we've gotten to a point now where sometimes we're in just complete silence and we'll just be like synchronizing with each other, just doing everything. And I'm like, we're not saying anything. Like, we're not doing anything. We're just going through the level. It's like, oh, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like last night, you carried on a conversation with Chris, and I joined in a little bit, and we weren't talking to each other, but we went through a whole level. We aced it. We were just bobbing and weaving everything. Like, I would pick you up every so often to throw you somewhere. Like, it was just we were synced up. It's been a lot of fun, that game. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's other than that, I think I popped into. Oh, I finished RE3. I popped in. What is it? Yakuza Kiwami to install and Resident Evil 7. So I'm gonna play those two later on. And
what
then,
was your what's a quick take on RE3? How'd you enjoy that?
RE3 was really good. It was definitely shorter than RE2. If I had to like the game in terms of like choose between the two in terms of just longevity and overall replayability, I think I would go with 2 more than 3. Even though 3 people are saying is like the quote unquote like Dark Souls of Resident Evil because like it's very punishing. There's many different difficulties. There's speedrun tactics. There's all the things like that. 2 just offered a little bit better variety, and 3 was like you kind of go through some of the same areas as 2. Albeit it's not much, but it's some areas is the exact copy and paste of 2. But 2 was just better because it's 2 different perspectives you get to play, in 2 separate game runs, and this one is like you play both characters in one run, and they're very short runs each.
There's also more game to 2 versus 3, right?
Yes, yeah. There's more areas in 2. There's more map in 2. There's also more things to do, more things to collect in 2, more weapons, more upgrades, things like that. And 3, I think I liked it overall for just the action section of it. Like the action parts in that game definitely outshine 2. 2 was definitely more scarier than 3, but 3 was more like by the end of the game when you pick up that ray gun or the rail gun. I mean, that rail gun animation just is so anime-esque. I like it. I was like, oh man, look at this giant gun she's just picking up, loading up, firing at this nemesis boss, and boom, his head goes right off, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Right, certainly,
so cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. I wish it was longer. I have not had a chance to try out the multiplayer, and I really want to try it, but I don't find anybody who wants to play. I'm not going to play with a bunch of randoms. I definitely want to play with somebody. My brother has it, and one of his friends have it, but I want to give the multiplayer a shot because it, again, coming from Resident Evil 5, like you know, I've always wanted to have a good multiplayer from Resident Evil to play, but Umbrella Corps wasn't anything crazy,
and I haven't
tried this one.
Ooh. The key difference, though, is that RE5, when it did eventually launch that multiplayer, it didn't quite have the same kind of connectivity issues that 3's multiplayer. I wonder if they're still having like issues with that, like actually being able to get people to form matches.
I haven't even checked patches and stuff like that for it, but when we do play, I will let you know.
All right, cool. I'm interested to know. Hey, Adam, what have you been playing? I mean, you did mention a bunch of Sackboy.
Oh yeah, a bunch of Sackboy. I actually just beat it.
Cool.
About 20 minutes ago.
Ooh.
So, Genesis actually joined as I was singing the credits song. So that's what I was doing, by the way. Yeah, good game. Fun game. Why are you looking at me like that? So now, I wanted to beat it so we could play on Genesis's. So because he wants to do it as co-op, so we're going through the whole game on co-op. So I'm basically playing the game twice.
Cool.
But yeah, I have 5 or 6 more trophies to get, and then the platinum's mine. Probably going to take a while. Some stuff opened up at the end that I did not expect. So that's exciting. I also beat The Outer Worlds finally.
Right.
It's been over a year at this point since Genesis lovingly gifted that to me.
Good gift.
Yeah, it was, because I wanted it, and then I didn't buy it, and then he was like, hey, Merry Christmas, and I was like, yeah, good game, very funny still, good writing, lots of fun. I have my gripes with it, as I've talked on here before, with the the optimization, the loading screens, the layout of everything. But overall, I still enjoyed it, and I can't wait to go back, clean up some of them trophies, eventually start my super hard playthrough. I forget what their difficulty is called. I died a lot in the last area, and I'm on normal, so I'm pretty not excited for playing it on the hardest difficulty. Other than that, played a little bit of Minecraft, not as much this past week, but yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Giuseppe, what have you been playing?
Well, I've definitely been devoting an awful lot of time to Cyberpunk 2077. So I've been cyberpunking, but I've also been cyber stalling, here and there. My hard crash count is total to 5 now, which isn't horrible, but I mean, like, especially when I compare to like another game that I really enjoyed, and which also heavily maligned for glitches, bugs, and crashes, Fallout 3. Man, I can't even tell you how many hundreds of hours I spent in that world, and how many just playthroughs from zero, and then just chilling around in that world. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to have the same kind of experience with Cyberpunk when it's all said and done. It's very, very possible, if and when I do become blessed to find myself a PS5 and reload it, and all the patches are in and through, and everything's fixed, and everything's nice and shiny and awesome. For that version of the game, I will certainly bring that back up, because hopefully by then they will have everything into a good state of affairs where they'll actually be able to roll out whatever multiplayer component they want to have for it. And I could probably see, like, once functionality is like 100% on point, I think it's possible that I would enjoy the world to the same degree that I did with Fallout 3's world. But the difference is, even, and again, it's a little bit unfair comparing them, but the state of functionality for Cyberpunk 2077. And again, once again, to all the listeners out there, I am playing it on a PS4 Pro. So I'm not having the worst experience per se, but I'm also not having best experience either. The functionality definitely gets in the way. The rhythm of a narrative story, especially one in which you're being given the illusion of choice by, choosing which missions to take, who to speak with, who to kind of like give like favorable responses to. It gives you that illusion of choice thing. And in order to make that a fulfilling experience to the player, you kind of you really have to get immersed into those moments, into the world, you know what I mean? And when you have the crashes, you have the freezes, you have the glitches, you have the pop-ins, you have the clipping, a lot of that, the frequency of it really like takes you out of the moment. And it's definitely caught me a couple times where I've just gotten into like a gameplay loop mode, a mindset where it's like, look, I'm just clearing out side missions. I'm just going to a map and I'm just clicking on icon for this mission, then for this mission, then for that mission, and I'm kind of like skipping dialogue because I just want to clear things out of the queue, and that's not the best thing either. But I'm definitely taking my time with the main story missions, which I'm definitely like not blasting through. I'm really trying to be meticulous with level grinding, getting those side missions cleared out so I can be a little bit of a higher level with better gear and whatnot. But I would still say overall I'm still enjoying the time I had. My enjoyment to frustration ratio is very favorable. I would say maybe like 8-2. I would say that's kind of like where the ratio stands right now. So yeah, that's me. What I've been playing this week, Cyberpunk, and who'd like to get us started for our first topic of the evening?
Do you want to just keep going to Cyberpunk?
No, I kind of want to, take another moment to kind of like.
Then why are you asking when you just want me to go? Hey guys,
Well,
it's me.
I I don't just want to
Hey
tap.
guys, it's me,
I don't
Adam
want to
here.
command you. We could try
Hey,
some. We could try something
You're the
totally
host. You
different.
throw me in the. You want Genesis to go first with the rumors?
Boom!
Heck
How
no.
about that? Yes.
Oh my!
Let's
Well,
do it.
you're the host. All right,
It's
Genesis,
20
you go first.
You just
It's-
throw a
it's
curveball here?
20
Okay, all right.
It's
then.
20
Okay.
This is why you got to tune in every week. We don't know if it's
Exactly.
happening. By the way, we
Jeez,
weren't here
man.
yesterday because some schedules got mixed up. Happy Wednesday.
That's
Probably
right.
should have mentioned that.
Hey, crafting
I
a
mean,
chat every
to our-
Tuesdays or Wednesdays, more like at 10 p.m.
One day of the week. Well, just one day of the week.
Eventually,
we're here.
when we get to have a Twitter, I will be announcing the schedules on the Twitter.
There you go.
Yes,
on the Twitter.
yes, yes.
Make sure it's good on the Twitter. All right. So yeah, let's start off with some rumors.
Whenever that happens.
Rumors for
What's
episode
some news?
2021. Episode 21.
Okay, so what is the internet telling me this week? This is real
Yeah, what are they
early.
whispering?
I can't believe I'm just being thrown under the bus like this.
You got it.
But okay, let's
It's the internet.
start this up. So one of the first things I'm actually going to go over with the rumors here is actually. Should I? You know, I'm going to go with this one first. So I believe a week ago, it was either last cast or the one before that. I was talking about a bunch of Resident Evil rumors that were coming out.
Yes.
With the leaked documents from Capcom happening, and I believe I touched on one of the titles, which was Resident Evil Outrage, which is known as Resident Evil Revelations 3. Apparently, one of the rumors now coming out is that Revelations 3 is going to be a timed Switch exclusive. It is going to be with Rebecca Chambers as the protagonist. Why this one's being brought up? It's an interesting point, just that a couple of people are mentioning it here and there. It seems that Nintendo is now throwing money at some of these devs, the publishers or gaming companies, that they say, listen, we want to grab some timed exclusivity from you guys to gain some traction on these titles before they hit other consoles. Because I don't think they really have many exclusive deals other than their own franchises, which is what they have right now, right? They don't have any other random exclusive deals.
They don't. However, Nintendo does have a small history having done this before with Capcom, specifically with Resident Evil, when they had Resident Evil 4 came out on GameCube first for a timed exclusive, and I believe they also got the remakes of the original Resident Evil on GameCube also, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a little bit of a history there between Capcom and Nintendo when it comes to some special Resident Evil action. So not
Also,
unheard of.
what are the Pikmin games when they do not Pikmin, the Rabbids?
Rabbids.
That count as like
Rabbids.
one of
that's
them,
there.
or-
Yeah.
A lot of the Rayman stuff is mostly on Switch first, or Nintendo platforms first, and I feel like they do have ones. Just we don't pay attention to them.
No,
we don't
and
care.
it seems to be that Capcom is, getting paid pretty nicely by Nintendo for exclusivities.
Sure.
So like last week, I think I mentioned with Monster Hunter Rise's timed exclusivity on the Switch, they paid around $6 million for that. There's no figure that I have for this one. I just found that this was in a very interesting rumor that they were looking at this one and they were saying, oh, this is another one that they're paying exclusivity for. Whether it's timed or however long it is, it's very odd that they're paying for these now, especially with Capcom. Generally, I would have thought they would have gone to Ubisoft, they would have gone to even like EA, like because of the other games that people, even with like I would have thought Fortnite too, but I don't know who Fortnite's with now anyway. As far as exclusivity or marketing deals are concerned, are they still with PlayStation?
I think they just market wherever they can at this point.
I don't think.
Because
Yeah,
remember, they were with Samsung, and they were marketing on the the portable devices and
Galaxies.
stuff for a while. Yeah, and they marketed with God of War, obviously, and then also Master Chief. Like, they're just wherever. Also,
Yeah,
Reggie's going to see us on the battle bus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, there isn't too many platforms that Fortnite isn't in bed with. Heck, even Stadia, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure
they're-
it's everywhere.
Yeah,
at this
it's
point.
literally everywhere, and they kind of have to be because as popular as I guess I still think that game and whole situation is, it is still kind of like a one-trick pony, though, right? It's like it's not. It is what it is, and it's never really going to be anything more than that. So, and at
I
the
mean,
same,
it's done
yeah,
some
you could
crazy stuff the last few years, like a
the
concert.
tie-ins,
Yeah,
yeah,
and like when it broke the game world, like the Marvel stuff, like they've done a lot of crazy things in that game. I'll never play it
yeah,
probably, but they've
right,
done a lot
yeah,
of crazy things.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of, I know one of you guys mentioned Stadia. I just have a slight comment. I want to talk about Stadia real
Oh,
quick.
wait. Can I interrupt you really quick before
Yeah,
that?
go
Because
ahead.
you had mentioned Monster Hunter.
Breaking news. Oh,
No,
yeah.
not breaking news. But did anyone
oh,
realize that that Monster Hunter film recently came up?
yeah,
Yeah, another
Is it
Paul.
out?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
another Paul W.S. Anderson with his wife Mila Jovovich trashed.
Where's it out?
What?
Is it like just pay per view or whatever,
I think
video on demand
there
or
may
whatever?
be some select theaters that are showing it, but either way, regardless, Crafting a Chat does not endorse the Monster Hunter
December
film
18th.
because
Oh
apparently
my
it's a whole bunch of
God.
trash. But
Well,
it's Paul W. S.
Tennyson
Anderson,
Tennyson
and
Pictures, is that the
he's
same
not the
company who
best.
now just bought what the hell was it? Tennyson Warframe? Is that the same Tennyson that were
are you talking
same
about
division?
Tencent?
It's spelled the same. Sorry, 10 cent. Yeah, 10
Yeah, it's
cent.
10 cents. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
No, wait, what just happened here?
Sorry.
No, that's 10 cent. Is it tenant or
Um,
10 cent?
10 cent.
10 cent.
It's
10
a giant
cent. That is
Chinese
the
company.
same people who made
I
this
know,
film?
I know.
Yeah, well, they're giant Chinese.
Yeah.
They fund a lot of stuff.
10
They-
cents funds a ton. Their money is
Yeah,
everywhere and in all the
Looking at
wrong
ratings
places.
of this, it's not
a lot.
anything good.
Yeah.
48%
Well,
of Rotten
again,
Tomatoes.
consider the source. It's Paul
Wow,
W.S. Anderson.
48%.
I'd
On Rotten
love to
Tomatoes is
know.
higher than I thought.
I'd love to know who his representatives in regards to bridging the gap with Capcom is, because for some odd reason he's been able to pull the wool over their heads for years handling their licensed IP, and for some odd reason they just gobble him up, and I don't understand why.
Money.
Well,
He makes some money.
well, yeah, but anybody can make money, and his film adaptations of their properties have only been minimal to marginal profit percentage at the box office. Somebody who would be able to deliver something a little bit more cohesive, for instance, would be able to give them more money. And again, I just don't understand who his people are, because they are the real talent behind the Paul W.S. Anderson Capcom video game adaptation films, because they're the ones that actually make it happen.
I have to think that if a video game movie comes out and it's bad, or even if it's good, it just increases the sales of the video game, so video game companies don't really care how well the movie does. I have to imagine there's something that we don't understand
There's
where
some
they have
connection.
to, where they keep putting all this garbage out.
Yeah, I understand
because
that,
Monster
but
Hunter's been selling quite well, right?
well,
Like,
yeah,
by
and
itself.
Oh, yeah,
Monster,
yeah, oh,
Monster
yeah.
Hunter doesn't. It's not an IP that needs help in any way. Like that. That's a solid brand. That's a solid game franchise. If you're looking for that style of game, I can maybe understand if they're trying to expand on the audience a little bit there. But I mean, like, it's also not that franchise that's really going for mass appeal, right? It's not. It has a niche audience, and like that action RPG, but it's very kind of like it's very focused on a particular style of gameplay, as opposed to a more generic kind of like shooting or RPG or open world. You know what I mean? Like something a little bit more generic. But I'm just saying is that a better movie, regardless of what you're basing it on, whether it's original or an adaptation, a better movie is just going to get you more money and better optics regardless. And I'm just saying, Paul W.S. Anderson, while serviceable at making a film happen, not the best writer by any means, and definitely owes a lot of the film's green light ability to the fact that he's married to Mila Jovovich, also the star in his film. So, I mean, I'm just putting that out there. You all can send that on back if you have anything else to add to that conversation.
Oh,
Sorry,
W.S.
Genesis
Anderson,
didn't need to.
come on the show. Explain yourself.
Yeah.
We'll fly you out.
We'll we'll fly you right out to
We'll fly
our
out.
nice,
We'll
beautiful
fly you
studio.
out here.
Our custom crafting a chat studio here in the
I'll
Minecraft digital
befriend you on
world.
PlayStation. I'll send you the invite. You can even come to our realm if you want. You know, you can build whatever you want. We got some stuff.
Absolutely, the invitation is open. Sorry, Genesis, I didn't mean to like derail that,
No,
but
that's
you mentioned
okay.
that, and I was like, oh man, Monster Hunter World, the film. That's right, that is a thing. Yikes. Anyway, continue on.
No, not a problem at all.
Continue
So
on.
the only side note I wanted to mention was
Yeah,
I just wanted to get your opinion on something. So Stadia obviously has been something of a topic that's been dead for a little bit now. Nobody really cares about it anymore.
Oh, not
It
anymore.
was dead out of. Yeah, that's what I'm going to bring up now. Apparently, Cyberpunk runs on that amazingly, and a lot of people are like, "Wait a minute, this can run on Stadia, no problems." What do you guys think about that? Where Stadia has been criticized for many months before the launch of Cyberpunk for latency issues, for not having games, for just being an overall disappointment, internet connectivity issues, and just the library's been decreasing. And whatever Google promised that they were going to do with this gaming system is not even coming to light, and they seem to be forgetting about it now because they're like, well, you know what, it is what it is. But with the release of Cyberpunk, apparently it's been gaining steam. I don't think it's been getting any steam like crazy Switch sales steam, but it's becoming a topic of discussion now where people are talking about the performance of Cyberpunk on this versus like a PS4 or an Xbox One, and this is basically running off of nothing. It's not running off of, your processor and your TV or your computer or your phone. This is all like streamed to your phone via your Wi-Fi or cellular connection.
But it's
So,
originating from higher end hardware. That's where the source of the stream is, right?
I am assuming. I don't know, unless one of you guys can confirm that for me. I don't know what type of hardware is indeed giving this game, because that wouldn't line up if that was the case, because the older games all had problems. Destiny, Assassin's Creed, Borderlands, what else came? Some of the older games, Watch Dogs, I think, came on this as well. Any of the Ubisoft games were all released the same time that they were in consoles for Stadia, but all those games seem to have had issues. So why would this one game not have any issues?
Well, I mean, there could be, again, without really knowing exactly how Stadia does its thing. Just the generic idea is that you're again, like you had mentioned, you're not using any of your own native hardware per se to generate the video and the audio. It's being streamed to you, and you just basically interact with the stream. That being said, it's obviously it's being sourced by some PC hardware and servers somewhere. And again, seeing how the PC version of Cyberpunk is obviously the highest performing, cleanest version of that software. Yes, granted, the latency issues with streaming in general, and there's a lot of data going back and forth in the video and audio packs for that game in particular. Perhaps the Stadia people was like, look, hey, maybe they just rearranged their hardware. Maybe they reprioritized some of their streams in order to, facilitate this better signal strength for that particular game in order to, get some attention, get some eyes on them. Possibly, I don't know. Adam?
Stadia runs on it's streaming. It's what it is. It's
Right.
Yeah.
It's similar to you don't need hardware. You could run it on a Chromecast.
Correct.
So there was only one review I found on this, from I think it was Android Central, where the person who played it on a Stadia was like, "Wow, it runs great on a Stadia. By the way, my internet connection is higher than most places in the United States. Also, I still had some issues with it. It's not as pretty as the PC version. It looks similar to the PlayStation 5 version. In a few months, the consoles will be better than this." That is literally the summary of the review. So it's a headline that's kind of been blown out of the water. It's just that the game doesn't explode like it does on the original consoles because it's running on a server.
Right.
So I'm not shocked by it. I'm a little upset that it's been passed around and just gaining traction. Like, oh, you should buy this game on Stadia. No, you shouldn't. You should
Pump the
wait. You
brakes.
shouldn't. Yeah, you should hold off.
You shouldn't
Buy it
buy
on your
anything on
platform of
Stadia.
choice.
Yeah,
If you
it's
want to
not
do
worth
Stadia,
it.
you do Stadia. But you buy it on your platform of choice. Like, don't also hold off on this game, honestly. They sold over 13 million units. They're fine. Like, you guys can calm down.
Insane. That's accounting the refunds too. I saw that as well. I was like, that's
My guess-
including the refunds. They
my
sold
guess is-
13 million.
The refunds, my guess, is probably not a significant amount. I'm
Not
sure
at all.
It's
Most people don't follow video game news. They probably bought a game, they played it for 20 minutes on their PS4, was like, oh, this is broken, whatever, and then went back to playing NBA or something.
right.
Like,
And granted,
most people don't pay attention like everyone else.
And granted,
we do.
there's another reason for that too. It's also the culture behind returns and refunds for a video game product has been ingrained around the world in terms of like a basically final sale situation forever almost because of copyright laws all around the world, and so people have a lot of learned behavior on their minds when it comes to buying a dud when it comes to a game. It doesn't occur to them that with special circumstances like that has occurred with Cyberpunk, that those special stipulations will allow those kinds of returns to happen like any other product, any other normal product, another electronic or what have you, because the product is faulty or malfunctioning. So that's a thing too. But I mean, Adam is also 100% right. Gamers for the most part, it's a little bit of a risk that they just take on unknowingly. It's like, oh well, I'm playing it, and I thought I'd like it, and I don't really anymore. But I don't care, so I'm gonna shelve it and I'll move on to something else because there's lots of games out there.
Just to finish up that topic and actually end that part of it, what do you guys think about the refunds and everything? GameStop's made comments, Best Buy's made comments, Sony took it off the store.
That's something
They're
I think we're
offering
going to tackle
refunds.
later, right?
Well, I mean, we can definitely talk about it. I wasn't specifically going to talk about that aspect, but we can definitely talk about that in my segment because that is part of it.
Okay.
I mean, so
We'll save it for then.
yeah,
Not a
I
problem.
would say generally speaking, right now, it's like, well, it's interesting how quickly those developments occurred. It didn't gild the lid like it happened within a week or two of launch. Yeah, that's pretty fast. That kind of response. So.
Gotcha.
D0DHB0Y2.
I just pulled up another rumor here about Halo Infinite. This tweet has been since removed, and the comments is about 500 and how many comments are here? 600, yeah, a good 100, a good couple hundred comments here. Just talking about Halo Infinite actually might not be coming to the Xbox One or Xbox One X. It actually is being changed to being a Series X/S and PC exclusive. The Halo community manager came out and said that this is not correct, but I don't know. I mean, that tweet's been removed, and there's people underneath saying that no, this actually sounds like would be correct, especially if they're looking to optimize the game even further, which would kind of make sense with the delay that they're having, until fall 2021. But I don't know. I mean, this falls in a situation of like what I felt like Cyberpunk should have been in, where they should have made a choice and said, okay, let's either take it off this console or keep it going for the console and optimize it even more. I mean, if they do that and they axe basically the One X and One people, I feel like that would give them a better game on. Yeah, I feel like that give them a better game on the X and the S, and that would in turn sell more consoles. And at that point in time, yeah, that would be last gen because you're talking about 2021 at that point. So, to them, they want to sell more of the hardware that they've been making, and okay, let's get more hardware units out there if we're going to make this exclusive. Mm-hmm. It'll also probably bolster the Xbox Game Pass sales and stuff like that. But I just read that rumor, actually.
Well, interesting that you mentioned that because I would actually say that Halo Infinite is running into a situation that Cyberpunk did run into, specifically as it pertained to, messaging, marketing, and advertising. Like when it comes to that statement from the community manager, you said of the Halo Infinite, the
Yeah,
message
so
board.
Halo community manager
Okay,
came out and just said that, oh,
yeah.
ignore that, don't worry about it, this and that. But I mean, we're in a time where people say one thing one day and then the next day they delay a game because
Well, that's my
things happen.
point. Well, that's my point exactly. I mean, would the community manager actually know that? I mean, you would think in
Yeah.
theory the community manager would know that, but I think Cyberpunk's issues, and quite frankly, games that even preceded Cyberpunk, it's just that this game with Cyberpunk being the most hyped and largest profile one to have these disastrous outcomes as a result of mismanaging and mismessaging, we're really really sensitive to it. But like you said it perfectly, Genesis. I mean, like you might have all this whole advertising arm of a publisher developer situation trying to get information out to your consuming public, but do they really know the right information to even make any kind of statements? They may be empowered by the companies that they're working for to go ahead and make these kinds of posts and make those kind of
But they
messages,
might not even know, yeah.
but they might not even know, and they're under no compunction to hold true to anything because again, at the end of the day, it's the board of directors for most often not. It's the publisher who's saying yay or nay, and who lives, who dies, when release dates go out, and what's a finished game and what's not a finished game. So I feel like the one of the lessons, and this is something that I will talk about on my section, is that one of the lessons of Cyberpunk 2077 is that you really can't trust any messaging from anyone that isn't the CEO or the board of directors, and then even then you can't even count on that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So you just can't trust it. So honestly, I feel like that rumor there might be a little something to it because Microsoft they're not idiots. They see what's going on in the industry and they're looking exactly at the disaster that Cyberpunk is kind of like dealing with right now. Now, granted, I'm sure they'd love to have their sales numbers, but they're not going to get those sales numbers. They might get close with it, but they definitely would not have a shot at all if they release a glitchy, buggy, low res experience. They have to up their game. That's why they pulled it, and they're going to take that back to formula or whatever they're going to do to try to make Halo excellent again. But they, at the same time, though, I don't know how proactive they want their community managers to be when it comes to messaging, because chances are they don't really have the real information, and they might not be. They'll probably get caught after the fact and say, "Oh, here's your Twitter feed. This is where you lied to us here, and this is where you lied to us there." And then the community manager is going to say, like, "Hey, this is the information that I had at the time. Don't take it out on me," and absolutely everybody on the internet will definitely take it out on you. It's a thankless job, and unfortunately, that goes with the role. Godspeed, Spider-Man. Oh boy.
I want to touch on another thing real quick here. This is and Adam, you might find this interesting. So the Metacritic and
You totally
OpenCritic.
bypassed Adam on that one. He might have had something to say about that.
Oh, did you want? I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead, go ahead.
I
I'm
did.
sorry.
I find it really funny that the community manager responded with, "No, please just let me enjoy my holidays," because
I read that. I was like, what?
yeah. So that's pretty great. I would like to think that community managers are privy to some details, Cyberpunk excluded from that list, because
Right.
they the whole pre-order thing, like or
yikes.
can I take off work? Like, yeah, you take off work, haha, screw that guy.
No backsies.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that they're still going to release it on the original Xbox. I did see this rumor earlier in the week. I also saw, I don't even know who it was on Twitter, so I can't even credit them, but this wasn't me, where they said a good way to fix this is by releasing the multiplayer on everything, but only the main campaign on the next gen and PC, and that would make people happy. Because you can definitely make two different versions of the multiplayer that still works just as well. It's just the campaign, like, you don't want to.
And do you think there would be any cross play or cross generation?
Oh yeah,
play?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't see an issue with that. Because if they couldn't make that work, they make Minecraft cross-generational play on PlayStation. I mean, sometimes it's not fun to set that up, but it works eventually. Sometimes 50-50. It would suck if it was canceled for a lot of people, but at the same time, like, how many Xbox Ones are there? There's not that many.
Not
like,
many,
if you're a big Halo fan, you probably have enough to buy a Series S. If not, you probably shouldn't be buying a video game.
Yeah.
So
I would agree. That's a good way to gauge that. I would agree with that.
Hopefully we get a bigger stimulus. Fingers crossed, everybody. But my thoughts are basically the same as Giuseppe on this. Like, who cares?
Let me ask you two gentlemen a question. Do you think the way that we've been treated with with Twitter and Cyberpunk with, is this game confirmed? Can I take off from work? Okay, yeah. Next day we're delayed. Do you think that's something we should be looking or expecting to happen in this generation coming up now? Do you think that's going to be something that we see more of, or
you mean more interactivity in terms of like the messaging? Or...
No. Meaning, are we going to see things like that happen more often?
More dishonesty.
Generation?
Yes, correct. We will definitely see more dishonesty. Absolutely.
More.
100%.
Well, as much as I would love to be like, everyone's evil. The people who ran the Cyberpunk, like Twitter and everything, they didn't know. They were dishonest, not on purpose. So it was not with ill intent. I mean, the people above them. It was with ill intent,
but that's the thing. I'm not throwing those people under the bus. I'm throwing exactly the people on top who are making those shows, and it's their fault for this disaster and disasters like this. It's inevitable, absolutely 100%. It's inevitable that we're going to see bigger games, more anticipated games with bigger and more disastrous launches as the future dictates. Because look at Cyberpunk 2077. 13 million copies sold despite all of the negative attention. It has proven immune to the situation.
Well, most of those were sold through pre-orders as well.
That is true.
So, they had 8 million pre-order?
Yeah, 8 million, they said. That was the numbers before the game launched. The 8 million pre-order. It was like a week before the game launched, so pre-orders could have even went higher.
Right.
Okay.
But we'll definitely see dishonesty. I don't know if we'll see it to the level of Cyberpunk for a while. I mean, eventually we will, of course, because that's just how time works. But I can't imagine that maybe a year from now, the internet's going to be mad at some other game that's lied. Maybe Halo again. If God of War Ragnarok or something, Sony's usually pretty good with this stuff because their marketing is not like hey, let's talk to you guys. Their marketing is very old-fashioned. It is very, like, by the numbers. Like, that's why I think we were all shocked by Sony being like, hey, sorry about the whole pre-order thing, because we've never seen them apologize or interact on their Twitter. Their Twitter literally is just like, hey, look at this game deal. Hey, look at this game coming out.
Right.
And Microsoft's Twitter is, like, using memes and replying to people, and, like, Sony will reply to people by saying, hey, you're having issues with PlayStation? Here, go to Ask PlayStation. They'll help you. Like, they do not have that type of, like, I don't want to say westernized, but it is kind of a westernized thing when it comes to the marketing that Microsoft does. Like, the best example I can give is the Wendy's Twitter. That Twitter, everyone's trying, every corporation tries to be Wendy's, and sometimes Wendy's is a little but it's just... Sony's just not like that, so we have a better chance of not being lied to, except when they lied about No Man's Sky, like, in official advertisements. Like, full-blown advertisements. But that's, again, going back to, is that the developer or Sony? Because it seems like Sony pushed Sean Murray, really, and his whole studio, and Sean Murray. It was everyone lying over there. So that's why that whole thing happened. But definitely, we'll see an increase, because that's just how internet works. It's going to get bigger. It's going to become more intrusive. Soon we're all going to stream this on Twitter as well. So, you know. You just said at the beginning of this that you wanted to get a Twitter, so you could post when the show goes live. Like,
yeah, sure.
It's expanding constantly.
Yeah, no, I agree. My only opinion would be I expect to see this from a lot of games, just not as much from Sony first-party games. I think they do a much better job at
quality control.
Quality control, launching, post-launch, things like that. Like, even, for example, like Days Gone. Days Gone is now popping up on Reddit, NeoGAF forums where people play the PlayStation games because it's being replayed on PS5. And they're saying this is like a hidden gem because of the improved frames, the better overall gameplay, and people are appreciating all the patches that have come through with it. Ghost of Tsushima, all the free patches that we've gotten for that. I don't know. They seem to just have a much better quality control and overall just better way of doing it. Now, I don't know if that's because of their less westernized thinking, which I'm going to ask too. Do you think it's better that they have that type of thinking, or do you think that's a hindrance to them?
I think go ahead, Adam.
You can go first.
Okay, I was going to say it's focused on the market. I don't necessarily think that they play like a more dynamic social media interactivity messaging, for the entire globe to have that simultaneous kind of experience. I think it gets attention in the markets that look to take advantage of that attention. So I mean, it's fine. But I don't know. I don't think that's like the dedicated strategy, that can be applied everywhere. So
I think westernized or.
Well, I think it's a good mix that Sony does, because they do retweet, like, when a developer says something funny. Like, if, for example, the Fall Guys community manager. He's been tweeting like a crazy man ever since that game launched, and even leading up to that game. And they've been so proactive in, like, talking to people, like, just hanging out with the community, really. Like, creating just memes, calling out giant creators that created costumes in the game. Like, that's something we wouldn't see Sony ever do internally, but that's something where Sony saw that and they were like, this is working, we're going to support it, and it just grew and grew and grew. So every time they would tweet something that was big, Sony would retweet it, and like it would get more interaction. So I think there has to be a good mix with anything, there has to be a mix. You can't just be all like, hello, this game is on sale, goodbye. Like, like, thank you. Sometimes they do that, though, where it's like, NBA 2K21 is $49.99 on the PlayStation Store for a limited time only. And then they have a PlayStation Store link. Like, I'm not clicking that. Meanwhile, Microsoft, 90% of the time, is going, hey, what's coming to Game Pass? Ooh, and then they use a little emoji. Like, what is that? And then people are guessing, and then, what's his face at Microsoft? I can't remember his name. But he gives away free codes on Fridays. Every single Friday on Twitter. So, and it usually trends in the top 10 in the U.S. because people are just retweeting, trying to get that. But again, Sony is still the most tweeted, or most, I think it's most tweeted video game company. And I think in history probably, but in 2020.
I'm pretty sure it's been history.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't seem to have anything like that. Nintendo doesn't have a presence like that on Twitter, I don't think.
It's because Nintendo, they have a presence on Twitter, but they also have a very strange relationship with their community, because you could be like Nintendo certified, but you can lose that in an instant.
Oh,
they have a very old-fashioned kind of an idea when it comes to marketing. Like, you have to be an official Nintendo creator to even share some stuff. They've relaxed on that over the last year or so, due to a lot of controversy
But it's
between,
still
like,
there.
Twitch. It's still there. It's definitely still there. I would say Sony was like that in the past, but thankfully, over time, things have changed. And they're all starting to get a little bit more lenient, thankfully. But a few years from now, it could be a mess.
It could flip.
It could just, yeah, it could be like Microsoft gets into a big old kerfluffle about Halo. Let's say they have a Cyberpunk kind of launch for Halo. Like, it sells well, but then everyone hates them. And then they're like, okay, we gotta strict this up. And then you see Nintendo just start Wendy's dunking on them. Like, like, I don't think that's gonna happen, but, like, you never know with Twitter. So
That's true.
It's just so unpredictable.
It's true.
Yeah, I would agree. My segment ran a little bit over time, so I'm gonna actually end it here. That'll be it for my rumor segment. What the internet is whispering.
Awesome.
Wow. Not a
Adam,
lot of
you're
rumors
up.
this week.
You are up.
No,
it's
not
me.
too many.
All right, it's my segment, please.
Yeah, you
Sir?
got it.
Get to go.
It's all you.
Please, sir. Thank you. All right, so I wanted to talk about the PlayStation first-party developers. All right, you guys
Cool.
are familiar with them.
We like him.
Big fans?
Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Oh, yeah? I want you guys to rank them. I want you both to agree on a ranking of the PlayStation first-party. I'm here. Don't worry.
We got him.
So you're
Okay.
gonna list them.
I got you.
I'm gonna write these
I got-
down because that's gonna help me think about the list. So as you
Sure,
say them,
sure.
let me just grab a paper and I got it. Here we go.
Hey, okay. The first one is SIE Japan Studio.
Okay.
Can you also give us examples of like what?
Like a
I will
game.
give you
they've done?
a big example of what they've done. SIE Japan Studio, their most recent project, was Demon Souls in coordination with Blue Point Games.
Okay.
Okay, and then what's the ranking out of? Like 10, 5?
We'll get there when we go through them.
Yeah,
I didn't
we'll get
count.
through,
Not gonna lie.
Oh,
So.
okay. Okay.
All right, let me know when you're ready, Giuseppe.
I'm good.
Polyphony Digital.
What is
Gran
that?
Turismo. Gran Turismo.
Huh. I don't play those games. I'm aware of Gran Turismo. Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Got
Polyphony
it.
Digital. All right, Guerrilla Games. You guys should be familiar with this. Horizon,
Right.
Killzone.
Okay.
SIE London Studio. They mostly done like SingStar, and they're mostly focused on PSVR lately.
Okay. Okay.
Media Molecule.
Uh-huh.
This is one I didn't know, but apparently it is one. SIE XDev Europe.
Hmm?
So this is it's in the same office as the old Liverpool studio. They team up with like European developers. Some of their stuff is Until Dawn when they partnered with Supermassive Games, and Detroit Become Human when they partnered with Quantic Dreams. So they partner with European like independent developers to make first-party PlayStation projects.
Huh. So Quantic Dream affiliates.
Yeah,
Partner.
Some things that are coming out or have come out: Destruction All Stars, Returnal, and Sackboy.
Oh, and Sackboy.
Destruction All Stars coming out in February. Can
Interesting.
you after Gorilla? What was that SIE? Which SIE was that?
SIE London. Was after Gorilla.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then after London
That
was
was Media Molecule.
Media Molecule.
Oh, you
And then
writing
this
these
one
down
is-
too?
Yes. This-
That's
SIE
helpful.
XDev Europe.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, everybody good?
Yeah.
SIE Ben Studio. You can just write Ben Studio. Days Gone. So, Siphon Filter. You guys know them.
And Studio Days Gone.
Good old Insomniac is next. I don't know if I have to list things for you for these.
No,
ones,
no,
but-
it's not
Okay.
Insomniac.
No. Yeah, we're good.
Good old Naughty Dog is next. Classic Naughty Dog.
Okay.
Okay.
Next is Pixel Opus. They're one of the more newer ones. Their first game was Entwined.
Okay.
I think they actually did Concrete Genie recently. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look that up.
Keep seeing that game all over for sale.
Yeah, I see it, and I'm like, I think I would really like this, but at the same time, I'm like, trophies seem difficult. Next is Sie San Diego Studios. You'll know them because of MLB The Show. And possibly the new Uncharted game, rumored, remember?
Right.
Apparently David Jaffe was saying that it is something to do with Uncharted and third person and stuff like that.
Does David Jaffe even have, like... Does he work for PlayStation anymore? I don't think he does. I don't know how he... Well, he would have... Yeah, he's kind of one of those people who are like, I know people, they'll talk to me and I'll tell, I don't care. So, he's a crazy guy. Next is Sie Santa Monica Studios. You guys probably know them pretty well, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay.
And then the next one, in the best location, Bellevue, Washington, for friend reasons, is Sucker Punch. Still makes me laugh. Think about that every so often, Genesis. Think about that.
It's in Bellevue, Washington. Well, I don't.
This is in Bellevue, Washington. And that is the list.
All right,
1,
so
2,
we're...
3, 4, 5,
I think this is 12.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12.
Out of 12? Okay.
13?
So,
Might be 13.
13?
I don't know. I didn't count. You guys counted. You got enough.
Yeah. So
Nope,
yeah.
it's out of 13. You're correct. 7
13.
plus 6, yeah, 13, yeah.
Yeah, there's also another one, but they only do mobile stuff, so I don't even care about them.
That's fine. We don't really care about mobile games.
So I want you two, just you two, to come up with a list, a ranking of these, and you have to agree on the list. You're not doing your separate list. You're working together.
Collaborate.
Oh,
on
we're
this.
gonna.
You guys are collaborating, and you can ask me any questions. Like I want you guys to talk it through.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we got to start from the top down because honestly, like some of these other ones, like SIE Japan, like
they're pretty obscure, I think, right?
Yeah, we can kind of like lump them into whatever towards the bottom, but let's see if we can really agree at the top.
Okay.
So obviously the
Stephanie,
big
go
boys
ahead.
that we gotta like. I'm just gonna go ahead and just take out. We'll put front forward 3 off the top that are the obvious choices for contenders for number 1. Naughty Dog, obviously there, has got to be. Insomniac also has to be there. SIE Santa Monica, and possibly Sucker Punch, especially with Ghosts, coming out. So I'll add that 4th one in there. I'm not sure who's number 1, but I feel like in a top 5, those 4 have got to be there. Like I don't see ones that are bigger or more important or more impressive than those 4. Insomniac, Naughty Dog, SIE Santa Monica, and Sucker Punch. They gotta be the top 4. It's gotta be.
So you guys don't know Sony or SIE Japan Studios? Do you mind if I list off some games they've done?
What else do they have?
Go ahead.
Astro, Gravity Rush, The Last Guardian, Shadow of the Colossus, Knack, Gravity Rush 2, the original Demon Souls, Playroom, Puppeteer, Knack 2, obviously.
Well, that one.
Ape Escape. They're going back a while.
Yeah.
Like they've Loco Roco, Hot Shots Golf. Like they're.
I would still possibly put Guerrilla Games over SIE Japan then, even with that list. Like I would actually probably put Guerrilla Games as my number 5.
Horizon.
Yeah, I would put Guerrilla Games number 5. It's a toss-up between. I don't know, man. I mean, what do you think,
number
Genesis?
4 would have to go to. I want to say I think number 4 should go with what is it? San Diego. Not San Diego. Santa Monica, actually. Santa
Really?
Monica for number 4.
I think
Yeah.
number
Wow.
4 for Santa Monica.
The
Okay.
other 3 have just been putting out stellar games. Not saying that San Diego doesn't. Obviously, they have
Santa
You mean Santa
Monica.
God
Monica
of
again?
War.
Santa Monica.
Oh, Santa Monica. Sorry,
Santa Monica.
oh God, this keeps saying San Diego. With
San
with what
Diego.
they've put out, but I think in terms of recent, and I know I'm not. We shouldn't just be relying on recent games only. Obviously, there are older games
Up
that
to
have
you.
been very
Well,
well.
it's a what have you done for me lately? Issue
I think I'd
entertainment
agree
is.
with that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Um, in terms of recent times, then I definitely would put Sucker Punch, Insomniac, and Naughty Dog up in that list above Santa Monica.
All
I
right,
think
so Santa Monica. Okay, I'll agree with you on Santa Monica because this is the thing. As great as God of War is, and obviously PlayStation All Stars, that's neat. Yeah, okay, a little bit more. I mean, I know God of War is huge, and they've done it. They've done a
yes,
number of
very
them, but
very fantastic game. But just the surprises that have come out of Insomniac and Sucker Punch
I mean,
alone, just
Insomniac. I feel like Insomniac's got to be. I think it's got to be like number one. Spider-Man, Ratchet, Spyro, Resistance. That's a
yeah,
lot. That's a
yeah.
wide range of
Well, they're
really.
no longer Spyro, so don't include the
Well,
new
they're
Spyros.
I'm not including new, but they you gotta include the
They
stuff
did
from the
they did a great
past.
job with Spyro, but yeah, for the more recent ones, it's more Spider-Man, um, just the surprise that Spider-Man came out to be Miles Morales and the original 2018 one. I think A shocked a lot of people. B just took after the Batman series, I think a lot of people were looking for another superhero game,
Uh huh.
and I think Spider-Man had served that very well in terms of that superhero game,
Right.
especially coming off the Batman high.
Yeah.
Um, but and then on top of that, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, Ratchet and Clank just keeps looking like a Pixar movie every single day.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah. Ratchet
the
is
next thing
huge.
coming out, and
So
I'm like, man, I want to play the next one.
seriously, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is my top 5. Insomniac number 1, Sucker Punch number 2, Naughty Dog 3, SIE Santa Monica 4, Guerrilla Games 5, followed by SIE Japan, and quite frankly, everybody else can be tossed in there with the Quantic Dream Studio bringing up the rear.
I think I'd agree with that one. I think I'd agree. I think the rear for me, like the bottom of the pack for me, would be probably Pixel Opus, because I haven't played. This is just out of like a sheer obscurity. Like I don't know much
Right.
about them, and maybe Polyphony, just because I know they make Gran Turismo, and I know that is a very beloved franchise by a lot of people. And people enjoy Gran Turismo a lot, just like they enjoy Forza, and it's driving sim. But I don't know, they just have not been making the quality, I think, is what I'm looking for of Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo Sport was okay, it was good,
Uh-huh.
but it wasn't what people, I think, looked for. Now people looking at GT7 and they're like, well, there's some reused assets from Sport, and it's a little bit better fidelity for graphics for the PS5, but other than that, what else are we seeing?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I picked XDev Europe. It's really more for spite than anything else. I would rather put obscure studios ahead of them for spite purposes. So that's all I gotta say about that. No, I think that's a pretty. I mean, and think about this. All of these first party studios, just like looking at them overall, such a quality catalog overall of titles that
Absolutely.
are major,
Absolutely.
iconic, excellent games that have.
11 set the time to 5
And they've been doing it for a number of years.
279,000.
These are not guys that have just showed up out of the blue, and they had a one hit wonder, and they burned bright for a time, and then they fizzled out into nothing. No, these just a quality stable of franchises. Got to tell you, it's kind of impressive. And again, a big reason for Sony's video game business success overall.
Yeah.
All right. So since you both agree on the list,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Genesis,
agree.
you both agree on the. Okay, Genesis, tell me the list.
So we have Insomniac,
Mm-hmm.
then Sucker Punch,
Uh-huh.
then Naughty Dog,
Mm-hmm.
then Sie Santa Monica,
Mm-hmm.
Gorilla,
Uh-huh.
Sie Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything else underneath that, I believe. Did we put San Diego anywhere?
So you guys didn't care for San Diego, Bend, Media Molecule?
I would say Media
Yeah.
Molecule would probably be like 7 or 8. Again, Dreams, again, awesome. Little Big Planet, awesome. But again, very niche, for some odd reason. It's just very niche, and so definitely deserving of recognition, but also not head of the pack, not leaders of the pack.
All right.
I have to agree with that.
That was
Can we
straightforward
can
list.
we also do one for Xbox?
Do we know what any of them make?
Not
We
all of them,
can.
but yeah.
Yeah, we can. We can do that. Hold on. Let me
Can
pull
I
'em up.
name these sometime? Can I do you and Giuseppe?
Your topic has passed, sir.
I want it. Oh,
Go
God.
ahead, do it. I'll allow it. I don't care.
I will not.
Okay.
All right, then. You know what? You go ahead. You're fine.
This is my topic. I was going to jump into something else, but whatever.
You jump into whatever you need to jump in, sir.
Jump for it.
No
Jump.
no jump.
It's a jump ball.
It's a jump in, jump out.
Xbox
jump in.
All right, ready?
Ready.
343 Industries,
Okay.
The Coalition, Compulsion Games. Compulsion Games has made We Happy Few. That's like the biggest one.
Okay.
Double Fine Productions. You guys may know them for stacking. Nothing else. That's all you can think about.
It's Schaefer's company, yeah?
Correct. Yeah. The stacking company. Is
Right.
what you meant to say.
Right, there you go.
Next is The Initiative.
You gotta actually look at Double Fine Productions website. The website's down, and it's just like I need a break. That's what the website says. Anyway, go ahead.
They're
Good.
building stacking too. That's what's going on there.
Probably.
Isn't stacking like a computer term? I don't know. That seemed like it was a deeper joke, but I didn't think it through. All right. Anyways, next is In Exile Entertainment. Spell that how you feel. They've made games including
Wasteland
and the Bard's Tale series. A little studio called Mojang. Never heard of them at all. I don't know who that is.
I don't know about them. I have no idea what they do.
They're located in Stockholm, Sweden. So.
Sweden.
Logan. Ninja Theory is next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like those
They've
guys.
made a Heavenly Sword,
They also made DMC.
some other stuff. Yeah, but like not any of the
Bethesda
good ones.
Softworks. Are we counting Bethesda?
We're not there yet, sir.
Oh my, okay.
They own way more.
They own
Obsidian.
Uh-huh.
They've made Fallout New Vegas, South Park: The Stick of Truth, a little game I played called The Outer Worlds.
a lot. Right.
Wait, they made a Stick of Truth? I thought that
Yeah.
was Ubisoft. Or Ubisoft was the publisher.
No.
Ubisoft might have been the publisher, because that does.
okay.
Yeah, because they were at the couch. I remember that. Good memory. Good memory there, Genesis.
He's got
Thanks.
that laser focus radar on all things Ubisoft. Whenever they get out of line, Genesis will be there.
What a guy. Next is Playground Games. They work with Turn 10 Studios on the Forza Horizon series, and they're currently in development of the next Fable game.
Are they the ones? Okay, well, okay.
Yeah, the other people can't do it because they died. Like their studio died.
Rest in peace, Rip.
Next is Rare.
That Rare used to be a big boy on the block. No
They're
longer.
pretty big again because of Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, but
They're not at what they were. Don't get me
they're
wrong,
not what
but
they were. But they used to
definitely
be
not at
so
what they were.
huge, so huge.
Yeah. Next is the Turn 10 Studios. No, I don't know why I said that. Just Turn 10
Turn
Studios.
10.
Those are
Okay.
the Forza people.
Right. Yeah.
Forza.
Next is Undead Labs. They make the State of Decay games. Next is World's Edge. Age of Empires franchise.
They bought them?
I guess.
Sure.
Okay. Didn't even realize when they bought them.
They can afford it.
Yeah, they just buy everything. Doo-doo. Then there's Xbox Game Studios, but there's not really anything they've done yet.
Right. Shell
Minecraft
Company.
Dungeons, I think they've done that.
Yeah, that's part of Mojang.
Yeah, that's. I would credit Mojang with that, but who knows? I don't know. I don't really follow them.
And then Bethesda, obviously, which you can just.
Did you say 343?
Yeah,
That was
343
the
was the
first
first
one.
one.
Oh, okay, why did I not
Jinx.
hear you say that? I heard World's Edge, and I was like,
That wasn't
I mean, I heard the Coalition. I didn't hear 343. I was like, wait, where's 343?
I don't know.
Alright, so that's all I got.
Yeah, way more.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And honestly,
So that's all I got, huh?
I would still take
the
the
garbage
first
that they
grouping
have.
because I'm just looking at all the games and I'm just saying I don't know. I mean,
It
again,
seems like what they have a lot of similar ones to Polyphony, where it's a studio that makes one game over and over and over.
sure.
Like 343 is Halo.
Oh no. I have
Oh
been
no, we got some
disconnected
technical
from.
difficulties.
Oh no.
We
I think
have
Paul
some
W. S.
technical
Anderson
difficulties,
moved some mountains with his friends over at Capcom, who gave
Ah,
their friends
I'm
over
pretty
at
sure.
Sony and their friends over at Microsoft to kick us from the Mojang Sony PlayStation servers on Minecraft.
Yeah, we just went out. He said his Wi-Fi just went out. Uh-oh. All right then.
Well, I'm still broadcasting, so I'll just.
Yeah, I'm still broadcasting as well. I actually had a comment from one of my guys, Cork here. He was talking about how
Cool.
we talked about the release of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
Cork, if you actually check last week's chat, as well as if you look at the beginning of this one, like after this one goes up on Twitch and the YouTube channel, you can actually head back to the beginning of it, and we actually do talk extensively about the refund, the release, the overall reception. Giuseppe actually will have a lot more to talk about this on his YouTube. When you go to his YouTube channel and you look at last week, because that was his first impression of the game.
Right.
So he would have a much better insight into what.
And we'll
what
talk
this
about it a
game
little bit more
entails.
too. I don't plan on having a long segment. I was just going to talk about a little bit more about the lessons learned or to be learned from Cyberpunk moving forward, because in such a small window of time, we've seen this game hit the world on fire almost. It had an immediate impact, and it also had an immediate reaction. And it seems just universally negative, despite a lot of people going out there saying, "Hey, I'm still having a good time." And again, that's really dependent on how good your hardware is. But overall, though, when it's broken, it's really broken, and we've seen the reaction from other corporate entities in response to this particular software product. And I would say one of the number one things that I'd like to reiterate when it comes to the lessons to be learned about Cyberpunk 2077 is that Miyamoto is ultimately correct in what he says about releasing a game that's broken. Because when you release a game, even if it's a live service game, even if it's a game that you absolutely admit that you're going to support and you're going to add patches onto, you're going to expand, and you're going to do other things to it to give it more life after its initial release, if you don't nail that initial release, that initial form will forever dog the legacy of that game. And even if you turn it into the best thing since sliced bread, perfect example, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, it has gone through an incredible transformation in the years since its initial release. But that game was, for as entertaining as it was and the interesting things it was trying to do with the procedurally generated planets, it fell way, way short of its advertising and its marketing and the things that it was promised, the things that Sean Murray went out of his way to promise to everybody. My goodness. Disaster zone. And honestly, it really paved the groundwork for Cyberpunk and CD Projekt not having learned lessons from the past, or at least none that they wanted to take into their business model, because I honestly I think that's another lesson to be learned, is that CD Projekt is paying attention to market trends, and the trends in the video game market is that releasing broken games is fine. It's honestly a forgivable thing, and the market has, and continues to forgive broken products. And until the market responds in a highly negative way in terms of decreased sales and a significant decrease in pre-sales, the industry has no motivation to change. And that's ultimately another lesson to learn, is that we must expect this kind of situation to repeat itself in the future for bigger, better, and more anticipated games to come, because they know they've gotten away with it before, and they will continue to get away with it again to probably even more profits beyond our wildest expectations. And that's a truly disturbing and absurd idea to think about. You know what I mean? To say it as like, hey, yeah, CD Projekt may be taking their lumps in terms of like the courtroom of of public opinion, but they're laughing all the way to the bank. You know what I mean? Like they are cashing those checks. Their executives are making bank, and they're not going to get punished. They're going to get raises and bonuses, and my hope is that hopefully the actual developers that went out there and actually created the game and continue to fix it and support it and do whatever they need to do to make it go years after the fact. Hopefully they get to see a little bit of that money, because they're the ones that are really taking the heat, and they're not necessarily the best paid in this whole process. So I hope that they get rewarded as well as their executives, that I'm sure are definitely rolling in the dough. But the promise of Cyberpunk, my goodness. I mean, everyone, pay attention to reviews, read those articles, watch your YouTubers, watch those video reviews. I mean, like, we've got to get out of this whole pre-order blind loyalty culture if quality matters to you as a consumer at all. If it doesn't matter, and you have a bunch of disposable income, hey, more power to you. Buy what you want to buy. If you enjoy games, hey man, power to you. We love games here. That's what we're talking about. We talk about other kind of entertainment products as well, but we love games. That's not to knock it. But if quality matters to you, and money is not as easy to come by, then you got to be smart with your wallet. You got to vote with your wallet. You can't just buy any old thing just because, hey, somebody slapped Star Wars on it, so it's got to be a great game, right? Well, wrong. Not necessarily so. Oh, the next biggest hype game that there is out there. It's coming out. Look at this awesome full CG rendered video that they teased us with, and cool trendy soundtracks, and look at this this promising gameplay that they're talking about, but we haven't actually seen because there's no in-game footage, in-engine footage. You got to watch out for it. You got to watch out for it. And you cannot trust anyone. You cannot trust these games companies. You cannot trust their marketing. You can't trust their advertising. You can't trust anything. Take it all with a grain of salt, because if it can happen to CD Projekt and Cyberpunk 2077, one of the companies with one of the third-party developers with arguably one of the best reputations going into this product launch, with one of the most hyped games of all time to be launched, to be received by the global community in this way, that tells you something. That really does tell you something. And it's the consumers that are going to be, on the outside looking in. We're the ones that are going to be left with broken product, with not necessarily any kind of promise to fix it after the fact. They have your money. Why? I mean, it's a nice thing if they say they're going to support it and they're going to patch it and they're going to iron out the glitches and all the issues, but they don't have to. There's no illegality to it. There is illegality to false advertising, but that's a very, very difficult thing to prove in court, especially when you're talking about hundreds of courts around the world that you'd have to basically make that case to individually.
There's a lot of cases you'd have to make that available in for them to even consider something like that.
Exactly, but it's a huge standard of proof. Very, very difficult to make that. As much as it seems as obvious as the hand in front of your face, that this was a clear-cut example of false advertising. Very, very difficult to prove. Very, very difficult to prove, especially when you're talking about, artistic, expression and free speech and what have you. I like all of those lawyers that they will pull that out of their playbook in order to counter any kind of false advertising law. So again, it's all about becoming smarter consumers. It's one thing to be denied a game due to a series of delayed release dates. That's definitely a frustrating thing, and we obviously saw that with Cyberpunk. But it's another thing altogether when we finally get the thing that we've been salivating for, and then, oh my goodness, what just happened? Oh my goodness, we got it all horribly, horribly wrong. What is happening here? It's sad that we have to deal with disappointment, but this is the trend. So we just got to be smarter, and we can't be so trusting. It's tough. It's really tough.
He's still having a couple of technical difficulties
No,
here.
that's all right.
Yeah, he's, I think, signed out and something's going on with his PlayStation Network. What do we got for time here? 1 hour and 24. What do you think, Giuseppe? What do you want to do here?
I don't know. Well, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about Cyberpunk. I wasn't I wasn't really devoting my whole segment to kind of like trashing it or anything like that. Because again, I am enjoying my time, generally speaking, with it. It's not been my best experience with a game like this, and certainly not the kind of experience I'd want with an open world RPG. But I will say this. As it pertains to the actual gameplay and kind of like getting people that may not know a lot about what the game is or how to play or what's the right way to build or progress or what have you, you definitely need to look. Once you get into the game, you need to kind of like look right away into the cyberware aspect of the modification to your character builds, because while the RPG progression offers a lot in terms of point allocation for perks and your vital stats, all of those aspects are very, very minimal in terms of like damage modifiers or hacking modifiers. It's very they're as diverse as it is and as layered as it is. That aspect of the game is very minimal in terms of like your gameplay return. If you're looking for rapid increases in the diversity and dynamicism, is that a word? No. In the dynamic gameplay that Cyberpunk offers as a software, you need to get away from that Well, I mean, still do that. Allocate your points as you see fit, but you need to go out and you need to start earning money like right away so that you can afford to buy the cyberware enhancements to your body. Because when you do that, that's when the game really opens up into cool dynamic gameplay mechanics such as double jump, bullet time for aiming, they've got one where you do a superhero, landing if you fall from a great height and you do like one of those impact crater things. You know, it's really cool aspects to the game. It's basically the exact same system that the Deus Ex Human Revolution and Mankind Divided offered in terms of like, the body. The adding the chrome, as they say in Cyberpunk, adding chrome to your body to give you different abilities that really allow you to traverse the environment in way different ways, in ways that the perk and point systems don't do at all. So if you find that you load up Cyberpunk 2077 and the game is kind of like playing out kind of like a less like a poor man's GTA or a poor man's Call of Duty meets GTA or something like that, in order to actually make it more cyber, it's like, hey, you're not a superhuman, but you're an enhanced cybernetic human. To do all these different kinds of things, you need to invest in that cyberware, and I think that's one of the things that I don't think like much of the marketing, advertising, or even the YouTube influencers and YouTubers in general don't really emphasize a whole lot, because if you ignore that, and it's an easy thing to miss in the game, because when you go to the Ripper Docs, and Ripper Docs are basically your vendors that you go to buy all of these different parts for your body to do different kinds of gameplay mechanics and make the game really different and make it feel and play in different ways than a standard first-person shooter. But when you go, all of these modifications for the most part are really expensive in comparison to other things that you can spend your money on early on, or spend your time on in terms of like, you want to clear missions. You want to clear missions to gain experience. Okay, well, clearing missions and experience, those are cool, but they also don't necessarily affect your cyberware. There's a lot of cyberware you can get, so long as you have the money for it, that you can get top tier gear almost right out of the gate. So that's something to pay attention to, because if you find yourself that you're getting a little bored with Cyberpunk's gameplay, you really need to focus on cyberware, because that's what's really going to get you those really cool, hey, you want to feel like a cyborg? This is how you feel like a cyborg. You got to build your body up in order to facilitate that. So that was like one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, because like I felt like that was really overlooked. And I found myself getting a little bored early on, because honestly, I had been neglecting cyberware altogether, because there weren't a lot of missions tied to it in terms of like unlocking like parts for your body, or unlocking a special like Ripper Doc that would give you a lot of like parts for free or something like that. So the game doesn't really give you a lot of attention in that regard to the build, to your character build in the early game. Maybe that's a mistake, I don't know, but easily overlooked. But once I did, because I just wanted to see, because I had been earning a little bit of money and I didn't quite know what I wanted to spend the money on, I figured it's like, well, I know Ripper Docs are expensive, let's just see what this one has. And I started looking into it. It's like, wow, the game is really opening up gameplay for me. That seems fun, and it's way different from what I've been doing, which is just running, driving, and shooting guys. And yeah, look into cyberware. It's a lot of fun, and it really like reinvigorated my energy and enthusiasm for playing the game, even in the state that it's in now.
Giuseppe, how's the driving been in the game? Actually, I wanted to ask you that.
Oh,
Yeah,
the driving.
I've seen some stuff with the driving, and people are comparing it to like Watch Dogs and GTA, and I'm like, that doesn't sound too good.
Well, the driving is trash. The driving is honestly, I would say it's actually a little bit worse than Watch Dogs. Very
Your
similar.
wheels are butter.
the wheels are butter. And honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of vehicle that you're driving on, whatever kind of pavement or ground. Like for instance, I cleared a whole bunch of missions out there in like the desert area, uh, and even the all-terrain vehicles that you get, they handle it as if you're driving on an ice skating rink. I mean, I don't understand.
Goodness Lord.
Where's I don't understand. Like, what is happening? Like, the driving is definitely trash. And honestly, if I had a preference, I would definitely run everywhere, run and fast travel. Unfortunately, though, the fast travel is hindered by the fact that you have to access a fast travel port in order to teleport to another fast travel port. So you can't do it spontaneously from the map wherever you are. So there is an element of environmental traversal that you cannot ignore in that game in order to bypass the inconvenience of driving altogether.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen people just like clipping in and out. The driving, there's just cars flying through the air, coming down on people, flipping through the air. Just people, the animations getting in and out of cars have just been atrocious. But you know, they did roll out patch 1.06 today, and I don't know. Have you got a chance to download that patch yet and see how that is?
I don't know. I may have. If I did, I noticed nothing different to the gameplay at all.
Yeah, because a lot of people are reporting they're noticing quite a bit of difference in that one. That one they're saying is actually fixing a lot of the crashes and a lot of the bugs changing.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, great, because it can definitely like more stabilization definitely will go a long way in terms of helping Cyberpunk 2077 rebound from its initial, backlash.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. Yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on the driving, because I was like, if anybody's going to have a good opinion on driving, who's played GTA and Watch Dogs, it's going to be Giuseppe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I'll definitely look at a game like like GTA, and GTA, you need your driving to be on point. It's kind of like releasing a Call of Duty game, and somehow your shooting mechanics are just not there, even if they're off by like a millisecond or a millimeter or anything like that in terms of hit detection and response time. Your whole market, they're gonna react to that in a big time way. So you got to be on point with that. I can definitely see CD Projekt's inexperience showing in a lot of different areas in Cyberpunk, and driving is one of the worst offenders of it. I would say after that, well, while they show their inexperience in some areas, they also show their bad habits in other areas. In particular, menu navigation and item manipulation. Very, very laggy, very kind of cluttered. Again, in styles that are just so similar to The Witcher 3. I would say like a lot of the bad habits that to this day exist for The Witcher 3. A lot of those did carry over in terms of UI for Cyberpunk 2077, and I don't understand why, other than, well, this is just how the company does things, so they're going to continue to do it just for a different game. In that regard, they really could have done a lot more in terms of like reinventing, reinvigorating, and they probably just needed to simplify the interface altogether, because it's very cluttered. There's a lot of you got to go through a lot of multiple menus to do singular things. It just seems they could have found a way to I don't know, sharpen it up. So driving is trash. The UI and navigation, it could be better. I'm not having a horrible issue with loads and load times. While there are a frequent amount of loading instances in Cyberpunk, they haven't been horrible. Like, they've been a little. I would say for me, they're a little bit quicker than Bloodborne loading times, give or take.
So, anyways, as I was saying,
Hey, there he is.
so which Microsoft one did you guys rank?
So, not gonna lie, we didn't talk about that at all.
No,
It's
we
fine.
were going about
That's
Cyberpunk
fine.
a little bit.
Hey
But I would
guys, I'm
say-
back. I have no idea what happened. Let's just move on.
Yeah,
Talk about it after.
we can talk about it later.
We're gonna wrap it up anyway.
Yeah.
Lawrence is just finishing up his
I
topic,
just
and we'll
finished.
wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm done.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, all I did was just repeat some of like the some of the lessons that we were to learn about the release of Cyberpunk 2077, and we should be mindful of that moving forward. So when the next big hype mega game comes, you gotta just you remember where Cyberpunk
Temper your
was coming.
expectations. Temper it.
No, it's more than that. You should be actively distrustful, because this is the thing. If things would just be released to the market and everybody would just naturally buy it because it's the superior product, then they wouldn't need to advertise for it. But things that need advertising, they need to be sold for a reason. And the trend in the industry is that, hey, you really can't trust it, because look at the Cyberpunk 2077 was coming from an optimal release situation that degenerated in the relative recent past with the series. Again, it began with the series of delays and pushbacks and kicks and what have you, and that rightfully so made everyone raise their eyebrow and say, hey, wait a minute, are things okay? Is everything really okay? Is another 3 to 4 months really going to fix things? Is it going to make everything okay? Obviously, it didn't help. Didn't make a difference in the long scheme. And honestly, I don't see how an additional 3 to 4 months, when the game's been developing for 8 to 9 years, what's going on with your time allocation? What is happening with your resource management? I mean, what is going on there? So it started with there, and look at where it's ended up. Again, granted, 13 million and some odd in sales, and probably more to climb, but it's gotten a lot of bad attention, and the Sony PlayStation Store and what have you. I mean, like those are unprecedented reactions to this situation in such a time frame. So quickly was Sony to jump on and say, hey, look, we're going to jump in there. We're gonna go ahead and take care of this situation now, because we don't want any of this to kind of like fall back on us in any kind of way, and we also don't want you guys over at CD Projekt making promises that for other companies that you have no say in dictating their sales and return policies on. So we're just going to go ahead and step in. We're just going to lay it out. This is what we're going to do. And you guys can go take a time out for now and enjoy your 13 million in sales. And why don't you come back to us when you get a better product for us to upload to our store? How about that? So just be mindful in the future, because no game is perfect, and every game's marketing is to be distrusted. That's just honestly just a safe place to start from. Let the game prove itself to you. Don't just give yourself over to the game. And this is a great example to always look out for, and say, compare it to. How does this compare? Is this a Cyberpunk situation? Yeah, it might be a Cyberpunk situation. Okay, well then, gotta smarten up. We all gotta smarten up. We all gotta watch out for it.
Y'all better get some smarts in your heads now.
You gotta get good.
some smarts in your head.
Y'all better get some smarts in your heads and be some geniuses rather than dum-dums. Nah, no.
Rather than dum-dums.
There you go.
Hell yeah, guys. Hell yeah.
So, Adam, did you have anything else that you wanted to say? And
Oh boy, no. I wish I was here. I can't wait to watch the rest of this. So I hope you guys didn't say anything awful about me.
No.
Genesis, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I know you're looking at me.
Giuseppe, I know. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Right through that.
It'd be funny if I go to watch
staring
this
right
and
at my
Giuseppe
soul.
has just deleted his video. Like, oh my god, what did he say?
What just happened?
You'll never know.
Yeah. Now I'll talk about what happened next week on the cast.
It's all good, I'm sure.
So, good times.
Genesis, you have any
All right.
parting words for our audience?
We had a little bit of a conversation from our chat here. Cork was just asking how we've all been, and he's going to be checking out the video from last week and now this week today. So he'll be looking at all the Cyberpunk stuff we were talking about.
All right.
Otherwise,
well, hey, good to see you. Yeah.
It's 2 days from Christmas. Everybody have a happy holiday, and we'll see you next week right before the New Year's, and twitch.tv/craftingachat.
Be good out there. Wash your hands. Cover your face. Play some games.
Yeah.
Don't
no more
be
than
dicks.
10 people in a room, please. No more than 10 people in a house. No more than 10 people in an establishment.
You can
whatever
keep
you
them.
want to call it.
You can keep them all in your heart.
Yeah, don't lick door handles. You gotta hold off till all this passes.
Yep. That's all illegal on other planets. Other
Yeah.
planets, it's illegal to lick doorknobs, so you don't do that.
Definitely.
What? What are you talking about?
Be mindful of your plantar fasciitis. Also, got to watch out for it.
Stay away from giraffes.
Carpal tunnel.
They're
Stay
all
away
crooks.
from giraffes.
They're all crooks. Be careful. Be careful of the giraffes. They're all crooks.
Don't overindulge in painkillers. These are all pro
That's
tips.
a good one.
Pro tips for all you fine guys and girls at home. All right, and that's it. Crafting a Chat. Episode 21 is in the books. We are wrapping it up. This is from Adam. This is from Genesis. This is from Giuseppe. We're saying goodbye, and we will see you next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, but hopefully Tuesday. Crafting a Chat. Out. Red shirt. Deuces. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, bye.